All right. Hey, family. Welcome, welcome. Let us know if you can hear us okay. Sorry about the delay. We had some techie issues, but it looks like everything is good now. Let me go ahead and scroll up and see who is on. Currently, we have John, Errol, Shalom, Melanie, Jimmy is on, and some people that are watching in the darkness right now. Feel free to come out to the light and let us know that you are here. Don't be shy. Let us know what we're coming in from. Let us know what questions you have. That's what we're here for. I'm your host, CJ Jamie. This is Sifu Fu. We are Enter Shaolin. This is our Enter Tai Chi channel. We also have Sifu Larry here, who's looking at the soundboard strangely at the moment. So I'm guessing maybe something is wrong with the sound.
I can hear you, but just
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm being instructed to keep talking. So welcome to our Kung Fu Q&A. We're talking about health, wellness, fitness, and anything else within reason. I do see we have a couple questions, so we're gonna go ahead and jump in to make the most of our time here. So John says, I'm staining the new walls and making it to reopen the store here in Iowa. I'm guessing you're talking about your martial arts school, maybe, or you're talking about your wife's store with her tumblers. Let me know which one it is. I'm curious. We got Errol coming in from London, UK. Shalom has a question. Melanie says, hi, family, coming in from the sunny southern Utah. And we have some requests from Jimmy as well. Everyone says they can hear us good. So I would like for you to turn down your sound, though, because it's really distracting me. I can hear myself double and it's weird. Okay, so let's go to Shalom's question. Hi guys, Sifu, what do you think about the level of fighting in the UFC and how your art can be used there to make a difference? That's a good question.
That's a very good question. The UFC fighters are very good fighters. I mean, they're athletes. They can take a hit and they can know how to give a hit. So they're very tough guys. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. But what I can say is that what we can do to make it different is we can teach them how to conserve their energy more. They can hit harder, use less energy. They won't have to telegraph as much. Learn how to lock. They can be much more efficient. I've seen people do locks and they muscle through, and the other guy, I saw a guy one time put a guy in a rear naked choke. The guy had his arm down. It was for like a minute and a half. The guy was struggling. It's like, shoot, if he just knew how to control that pressure, he could have submitted him. And if the other guy knew how to do it, he could have gotten out of it. But that's another story. But it's all about energy control. Main thing we could do is make them become more proficient and efficient at what they do. You definitely could hit harder for sure. Learn how to do the three-proof way. Learn how to control the energy more. I've seen a million times where people grab someone's arm in a clutch and when they have someone's arm like this and they can hold them away. I always see them do this. So like, dude, you can turn that into a hit right away. But again, they don't know how to use the wrist. They just use muzzling from the shoulders. So it's not something they could ever get out of because of that. But we use wrist. It's the main thing that we do different from most people. Most people are shoulder throwers. We're wrist controllers. So that's one of the things that would definitely benefit them. Like I said, locking is going to be much more proficient in what they do. In terms of how they move and everything, they're going to move that way because that's the most, in sports, there is still rules and laws that they can't break. Like, for example, you're not going to kick someone in the groin. You can't downward elbow strike. You can't bite. You can't finger lock. You can't do stuff like that. So there are things that you can definitely see in a street fight they are exposed to that, here, the reason why they take these big, long, wide stances because they know they can't get kicked in the groin. So it's a different story. If they know someone can attack you there, then they won't be exposing their groin as much as easy in a fight. So they can do a bum rush and not worry about somebody elbowing the back of their neck because they know that a downward elbow strike is illegal. So they do have a certain fighting strategy based on rules too. So that changes the nature in which they fight as well. Like finger locking is another thing. Like, you put your hands on me like this, lock your fingers, take you right off. Stuff like that. So there are things and rules that they cannot do, and so it can change the fight. But like I said, for us, the biggest thing I would say is they can learn how to hit harder and more efficient that way, that they can benefit in doing the three-proof type of punch. You'll hit a lot harder. Like I said, I've taken punches from MMA guys all the time. Let them hit me as hard as they can, elbow me as hard as they can in the body, and they they don't phase me. But then when I do it to them, they're like, whoa, they feel all the pressure, they drop, they have a hard time like taking it. So, and I'm only doing like 10 to 20%, not even going to 50%. So, I think that's the one of the benefits that would really help them when it comes to striking. They'll learn how to hit harder and use less energy to do so. And in terms of locking, they can learn to lock much more efficiently. So that was a very good question. That was actually a question like, wow, that was very deep. So yeah.
Good one. All right, let me go back up a little bit. Jimmy says, Shifu, can I see a demonstration of the figure 8 with the wrist?
Wrist to waist.
Well,
Oh, wrist. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
he
I
said
thought he said
wrist.
waist.
No.
No. Okay. So that now I can understand that. I was like, when I thought I'm reading, I'm like, waist. I don't mean waist. I don't hula dance. But okay. So when you're doing a wrist, okay, wrist, there are 6 points that you can turn from your wrist, okay? From the palm on the thumb side, center side, pinky side, then the back side, same thing. So you can pivot from the thumb and do this, where you can pivot this way. You can pivot from the center. You can pivot from the pinky. You can pivot from the back. So if you want to do like a figure 8 motion, like this is how you can do this. And this is learn how to turn your wrist, by the way. A lot of people can do this. It's like, we know how to turn wrist. That's not wrist turn. You have to make your hand become the head of the snake, never the tail of the snake. If your hand's following what your arm is doing, you're not leading. That's not wrist control. That's really arm control. And there's no such thing as arm control, just to let you know. So wrist is the only for the control. Arms create structure, pressure, tension. It's not designed to control energy. Wrist is. So this would be how you can naturally turn your wrist. Okay, so this is a wrist. Like if you want to do like a figure 8, that would be like a figure 8 wrist control right there. Okay, but that comes from 6 points in your hands that you can turn from. And for a wrist to exist, to be able to turn, the drive and the base must be there. So the wrist cannot do it by itself. So notice if I do it like this, you see my elbow, it's moving. That would not be good because there's no structure. Without structure, you can't create influence. So you have to have the base, you have to have the drive in order to have the control. That's why it's 3 proof is foolproof. It's not 2.5 proof Tuesdays. Unless I think it's Tuesdays, you can do 2 of them. So you gotta have the base, gotta have the drive in order for wrist to create the control. Hope that helps.
Bam. There you go. Let's see. We had a couple of people that have joined us. Let's see. John says the store still trying to get a new location for the school. I feel you. We got to find a new location for our school this summer. Thankfully, towards the end of the summer, we got a little bit of time. A little bit of time. Let's see. Nicholas. Hey, good to see you on, Nicholas. We also have to Mr. Fabio Masid, maybe, from Denmark. Hello there. Sorry if I butchered your name. Let's see. John says, can't type with wet fingers. John, you're always blaming your fingers on something. Okay. Always, always. First they're fat, now they're wet. Come on, bro. Stop blaming the fingers. It's you. Be honest. They're extension of you, right? Feather says, hello from London. Hey, Feather, one of our members lives out in London. So hello, good to have you here. And then Mark, hey, Mark, we haven't seen you in a while. Hola from Portugal. Good to have you on. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have, family? Let us know. We still have about 30 minutes to spend with y'all. And if you guys don't have any questions, maybe we can do some kind of solo training, some kind of simple exercise that can benefit them in their training.
Yeah, but do you guys have any questions first?
Yeah, we'll wait a little bit. While we are waiting, I just want to let you guys know I am going to be sending out an email tomorrow. So if you're not on our email list, meaning you're not a member to entershaolin.com and you've never signed up for the free intro course, how you can do that is sign up for the free intro course. Go to entershaolin.com/gifts. Make sure that you confirm the subscription email, and then a welcome email will be sent to you with how to log in and get those free bonuses. Plus, you'll be on the email list. So every time we're going live, any new stuff that's going on with Enter Shaolin, you will be notified via email. So make sure you put an email that you actually check, okay? Because otherwise, what's the point? You're going to get the information, and that would just be silly. So don't do that to yourself. You want the information. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be doing a online virtual event that we've been invited to several times now, and it's been a load of fun every time we've done it. It's going to be in one of our virtual spaces that we created just for the event. I'm going to be teaching some Sorry about that. My little laptop over here is connected to Sifu Larry's phone apparently. So let me backtrack here. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be doing several sessions on a virtual expo called World Building Expo. It's going to be in one of the virtual spaces that we created for that. I'm going to be teaching some qigong, basically a mini routine that I created. Usually I use it when I'm traveling, but also if I just need like a little extra boost throughout the day, but maybe I don't have time to do all 10 exercises. So I'll be teaching that and sharing some of the awesome benefits of Qigong and inviting people to sign up to Enter Shaolin. Also, there'll be a sign up list for Enter Shaolin 2.0. You can get on that list. And so you'll be notified as soon as we go live to the world with Enter Shaolin 2.0. And you'll also be entered into a contest to win a free year. So again, you want to be on our email list. If you're not already on it, make sure you go to entershaolin.com/gift, follow those prompts, and that way you'll be notified tomorrow. Everyone else that's already on the list, you'll be notified tomorrow. All right. Let's see. Melanie says, LOL, John. John, no. They have a mind of their own. I used to think that too about my arms and stuff like that. I'd be like, why are you failing me? Especially my elbows when they'd flare out all the time. I get it, John. You got to yell at your limbs every once in a while. I understand. Let's see. Shalom. Actually, sorry, I was going to say Mr. Fabio, but Shalom has a question before that. Sifu, how do you think Wing Chun, Tai Chi, and the five animals with NDN would work in the UFC?
Well, traditional Wing Chun wouldn't work because the problem with traditional
No,
Wing
no, no,
Chun.
no. He's talking about NDN Wing Chun.
Oh, yeah.
Indian Wing Chun, Indian Tai Chi, and animals, because he says with NDN. So that's our version.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Then here's the thing that I would say that would limit the ability to use it is because the wrist is our key. And when you're wearing gloves and you got the pad, it limits your wrist rotation. So it becomes harder to do that, which is why, like in boxing, they teach you to throw the shoulders because the wrist is actually like there is no wrist joint. They tape it up to your wrist. And the reason why they do that is so your wrist don't break when you punch. So for us, we need our ability to rotate. This is how we control energy. So if your wrist is not able to turn, then you lost your ability to control, which is why I think in boxing and Muay Thai and all that stuff, they teach you to throw the shoulders behind it because this is no longer a viable point in which you can use because it just becomes one stump thing and they throw the shoulders behind it. For us, we don't do that. We base and we torque the wrist to get our power. So when you're wearing gloves and you've got the taped hands, it limits your ability to turn your wrist. So that's the hindrance and why it makes it more difficult for you to be able to do in the end because the key is our wrist to control. And when you have to tape up like this, it becomes the one big stump. You just lost the major asset of what MDN can do. So wearing gloves would, and wearing the taped hands, that would very, very, very restrict our wrist control. So it would make it very, very difficult to do. Now, don't get me wrong. We can still learn to do kicks and stuff like that and generate that type of movement from there because it's not restricted that way. But our wrist control is our key. And without the wrist control, we can't control people. Without the wrist manipulation, we cannot do. Whereas like she's punching me, I can hook my wrist and rotate like that. You can't do that when you have gloves. You would be like this then. It would be back in the shoulders. Because if I don't use my wrist, I will use my shoulders. That's the rule of the body. And so I'd be becoming a shoulder guy, which I don't train in. But a wrist is our key to the manipulating. When people grab us, we articulate our wrist to control and convert energy. Otherwise, then we'd be doing this, which then is now back to our arms and shoulders. So that would be very limited because of that. But hand, like back in the day, I went boxed with a guy and we taped my hands up and I could not do it. I could not turn my wrist and we were sparring and he wasn't going all out. I wasn't going out with a light spar, but I really could not do anything. But what he was really impressed was every time he punched me, I did his arms. I just his forearms every time he came for a punch. And every time he did, I did. But I couldn't turn it back as fast because I couldn't turn my wrist back. But
and was that like the lighter gloves like they usually use? Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But they taped my hands up. So my wrist was taped up. And I was like, wow, this feels weird because I feel this when I move. I couldn't do that. And then, but afterwards, we took the glove off and I had no tape. And when I can't light spar, it was a different fight because now I was able to hook and turn him and convert his energy when he threw his punches at me. Whereas before I had gloves, I was like, I was foreign to me because I wasn't used to using my shoulders. And I was like, so when I was doing this, it wasn't, when I have bare hands, I could rotate my hand to this. But I had to do this and this because again, I couldn't rotate to keep the follow through for the hit for the strike. So it was a little, really, really off for me. I was like, man, this is not, maybe if I start practicing more, I can start adapting to it.
Right.
But it was the only one time I did it. And I just felt really, really weird because
Fished out of water.
I was not used to wearing the gloves. But like I said, once we took the tape off, we kind of sparred without it, and it was a different fight. It was a totally different fight. I was much, much faster. I was much, much more apt to getting in and hit his arm, hit his face. Whereas I was like, like again, I couldn't rotate. So everything was like this, you know. So I wasn't used to doing that. But once the gloves were off and the tape was off, it was a different fight.
I will say, as far as Tai Chi goes, if someone is in the UFC and they start doing Tai Chi, it's just going to amplify everything that they're doing because now they're going to be more centered in their own balance and their abilities and stuff like that. You still don't have the wrists, so that part, you know, the Fa Jing and stuff is not going to be really the same thing and same level, but you would still have more balance and agility.
They can generate more power still
Yeah.
by doing
Yeah.
you know, the base and the
Mhm.
drive hit type of thing. But
Yeah.
again, the control is different.
Indeed. Indeed. So there's some bennies, but again, you're kind of limited because of one, rules, and two, the gloves and the taping of the wrist. Let's see. Mr. Fabio, in the fighting stance, do you have your feet turned inward and is it okay to keep it straight forward?
It depends how you want to turn your body. Like if I'm standing towards her and I want to do more a side like this, you can turn because you're going to favor your side kick. If you want to square up with them, then you can put your feet out in front of it. It just depends on how you want to face your target. But in any way you want to stand, you want to make sure that you can project your energy towards your target. So I could be like this, as long as I have my energy. So if she's coming into me, I can still drive my energy towards my target. And if my body is turned away, it's generally even more of my legs. My hands, if I want it towards her, I really want to face her here. Up to 45 degrees on a turn is okay. You don't want to be like this because your energy is actually going away. But I can stand like this if I intend to use my legs. So it depends on what you're trying to do for your attack, but always make sure you're in the line for attack. That's the key. So
Now, if you were, because I know the answer to this, but they don't, so I want to go over this.
they may know.
They may. Some of them do. Probably John does. So if someone was approaching you in a fight, would you normally like square up right away, or
No.
more...
I usually like to take the defensive stance, make them feel like
maybe you don't know anything.
Look, I don't want to start any fight, and I would sit back. I would have my weight towards my rear. I would keep a certain distance so I can make sure I have the ability to read the attack and come in.
But you wouldn't necessarily be in a fighting, quote unquote, stance like we're talking about right now, starting off.
Well,
you'd be prepared, but not in an obvious fighting.
It depends on the situation. If I'm trying to diffuse it, if I know I have to fight, if there's like 5 guys about to jump me, yeah, I would go into guard right away because I know the situation is it's inevitable. I'm going after the first attack. I would go into attack mode because I know it's inevitable.
Got it.
If it's something I can avoid, you know, you get the wrong guy. I told you I got jumped when I was in college. And I did that. I stepped back. I cowered back a little bit. I brought my hands up and made it look like I wasn't want to fight. I went down a little bit, but I was actually rooting. I was prepared. If you ever see the movie 300, it was the same idea. Leonidas, all the things, he looked like he was submitting, but he was preparing for the attack. That's exactly what I was doing. I sat back, I brought my hands up, I cowered down, I made my movement smaller, I made it look like I wasn't trying to attack him, I made it look like I was afraid, so he would let his guard down. So if he made a move, I was ready to move in, and it was exactly when he tried to attack me, I was right into the attack. It all depends on the scenario. You got to use your wits first. I said all the time, the first weapon is always your brain. Second weapon would be your body. Assess the situation, be aware of it, set yourself up in certain positions, like maybe you want to be standing behind something so you know that they're going to punch. If they punch it, you can move to the side, they can hit a wall behind them. You see there's 4 or 5 guys, you want to get yourself in a corner so they can't get behind you. Your brain is your first weapon, like I said, and it can help you assess a win or a loss based on how you can change just position of your body, standing where you need like a corner so no one can come behind you, near a weapon, something that you can grab a chair or whatever. diffuse it with your brain, talk to them, maybe get them more emotional, and then they get just angry to attack you without care. So these are all the things, like I said, that your brain needs to recognize first, and then you let your body work accordingly.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sifu. All right. Let's go through here a little bit. Right, John. You look like you're not able to do anything until they make that mistake. Absolutely. Let me scroll up here a little bit. Let's see. What this is from AJ. He wanted to know, what is the reflect in martial arts stance? Sorry, what is the reflect in martial arts stance? I thought I was reading that wrong, but I'm reading it right.
What is the reflect?
I'm not really sure what that means.
I
I
don't
was hoping
understand
maybe
that.
you would know. Can you elaborate on that, AJ, so we can answer you, please? What do you mean about the reflect in martial arts stance? We're not really sure what you mean. Let us know. Let's see. John said they did that to Danny in one of the Ip Man movies against the boxer, restricted what he could do. Yep, I remember that one. Matthew, hi Sifu. Can you develop natural defense movement even if you don't know what you're doing? Well,
Well,
over
your body
time,
has an
yes.
instinct to defend, to prepare to take hits. Nobody trains you for it. We all trained to have a basic instinct. There are two types of instincts you have: basic instinct, natural instinct. Basic instinct is something you're born with. Everybody's born with a certain instinct. Nobody taught a baby how to suck. They're born with it. Nobody tells a baby how to cry. They're born with it. You take 10 guys, okay, 100 guys, nobody's training anything. And then you stand up there and you imagine like you're gonna kick him in the groin. They're all gonna kind of do this. That's their basic instinct. Anybody who's trained, experienced, some might block it, somebody steps aside, block, bring their arms out. It just depends on their experience. That would be natural instinct. Natural instinct is something life experience trains you. Basic instinct is pre-programmed. Nobody trained you. It's just built in you. So we all have a basic instinct to defend, to survive. Someone I see a punch, I might do this. That's anybody who's untrained will just kind of wince, cover up. You know, somebody wants to punch your ribs, you tense up your body. Someone punch your stomach, you go like this. So we're born with that. We're born with the basic. Now, whether it's effective or not, that depends on the scenario, right? A 5-year-old kid want to punch me in the stomach, and I wasn't ready for. I'm going to test my stomach. More than likely, I'm going to survive that because it's not enough. But you got someone who's like say 5-year-old kid has got a knife stabbing you, then that's not enough. See, the thing about basic instinct is programmed us for us to survive any type of impact. So that's why we tense up if we're going to get into car accidents. It is our body's way of trying to survive the impact because you have a much higher chance of surviving when your body's resistant than it is soft. If you're soft, you allow the impact coming, it can cause internal damage. If you tense up your body, you're trying to withstand it. So not always will that be effective. Obviously, if you're in a car crash going at 40 miles an hour, tensing your body up is not going to help. Someone tensing their body up when someone's stabbing with a knife, it's not going to help. They might survive if a 10-year-old kid punches them in the gut because it's not powerful enough. So our basic instinct is our ability to take the strike or the impact, whatever you want to think about it, and try to withstand it. Trained person, somebody's natural instinct, someone, he might, like I said, somebody got a knife, he might cut the hand down and hit the arm. He might do whatever his training is, step to the side, whatever it is. Everybody has certain ways that they deal with it in their training. But natural instinct, like I said, is something that we train where it becomes natural to us. Someone who doesn't have any training behind, he might block like this. Somebody who's trained in combat all the time, he might bring the arm up into an attack, or he might dodge it and go in. Again, that depends on his training. That's the natural instinct. So we all have it. Whether it's effective or not, that's what the question you're asking. So the effectiveness, again, that comes down to your training, your skill, and the situation. Because even the best fighters can lose, by chance, by luck. So you can have a bad day, something happens. So
Make me off your A game.
yeah, but again,
Distracted.
like the best fighters can lose, but let's say he lost 1 out of 1,000 fights. Like everybody has their day. So, but consistently, predominantly, he's going to be a very proficient fighter. He's more likely going to win all the time. But we have basic instinct to react to something. Your training should teach you to respond to something. So basic instinct reacts, training is respond, which is the better way to do it. Okay, so to answer the question, like I said, we all have that basic defensive thing, but what you do with it to whether it hurt you or can you follow through to stop them from hurting you. That comes down to your training.
So, Ajay, comment back. The reflect is a transition, a intellect or yoga pose dynamic. Well, we don't add any yoga poses into our particular martial arts stance.
Yeah, I don't do yoga, so if you ask me anything yoga, I don't know.
But what would be a transition from your martial arts stance? That we can answer. What would you do as a transition? And that would be based on what is happening.
Transition into yoga?
No, not yoga. Like if you're in a martial arts stance, you wouldn't stay in that same stance the whole
No,
time
no, no,
fighting.
no, no. When you're in combat and you're moving in back and forth, it should be dynamic. It should never be static. You can be static if you stand off looking at you like cowboys, like they're kind of like staring at you before they draw. You know what I mean? But if I'm just like this in the beginning, we're here. I might, if I have enough distance, I can just stand here. Once you get to within a certain range, then I'll start to move based on that. But you can stand still if you have enough distance because they have to close in that gap before they can get you. So once you get to within my attacking range, then I'll start to. When I feel like I have to, then I can. But transition is always between like a horse stance, a bow and arrow stance, to a cat stance, to a unicorn stance. Like there's all kinds of stances that we have. But the main thing is really the bow and arrow, horse, and the cat. Those are the three main types of stances most people uses. You can see it in fencing, you can see it in karate, you can see it in kung fu, you can see it in boxing. You can see people who are heavy weighted, their legs like this, you know, and then there are people like this where they're 50-50, and then there are people who stand cat stance. So those are the three types of main stances that we have, but there are transitions. Like I said, we could do twisting stance, a unicorn stance. So there are variations of stances, but the main three that you do when you're squaring off is either bow and arrow, horse, or a cat stance. Those are the main three that you have that you would when you're squaring up with someone. When you're cutting angles and stuff like that's different. Now you can change it to, like I said, you can change to a cat stance, you can change to a unicorn stance, you can change twisting stance. But they're transitions. They're not stances that you would stay in. They become transitional.
John, talk about stances, says take a defensive neutral prep stance. I've used that a few times. Yep, definitely. Let's see. You can call me Tor, says, can you show us a choreography?
Who's asking?
This is You Can Call Me Torres. They have a big yin and yang one there. Right
Can
there.
you show us a choreography of what?
Maybe like, I don't know, some footwork from one of the forms, maybe?
A form or a choreography? Choreography fighting is pre-rehearsed sequences of combat for entertainment.
We don't really do that.
I can. I
You
can do
can.
choreo. Yeah, of course I can. I've done it.
No, I know you can, Sifu, but do you have anything that you would like to share with the world in regards to that?
We could do a pre-training type of drill that I could do the single hands. Like you show, I train my students all this, or they start the first to learn the stages, or they do a pack dart. She comes up with a taunt, she comes down, pulls me, and then we teach people to do like this and come in like this. So these are the basic fundamental way of training someone.
I think it's
to
talking
develop
about
combat.
footwork, though. I could be wrong. Clarify, You Can Call Me Taurus. Do you want to see some footwork? Let us know. Let us help you. Be very specific, fam, when you're asking questions. That helps us get to you a lot sooner. I'm going to keep scrolling and give you some time to meditate on that one. Let's see. John says, you look like, okay, yep, we covered that one. There was another question from Ajay that I don't think I feel you have no idea what this is either, Sifu, but I figured I will ask. This is with anything within reason, I guess. What is a mesh node hysteria in martial arts?
Rubbish to me. I have no idea what that means.
I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what a mesh node hysteria is. I know what hysteria is, but I don't know what a mesh node hysteria is. So help us help you. Please clarify that one. All right. Let me go through here real quick. Hey, Adi Tolby, good to see you on. John says, train until you don't think about it anymore, then train it even more. Yes, absolutely. Jimmy says, dragon figure 8 with the animal style. Okay. Was that a
I
question?
think is a
Hold on, let me go back to what I think he had. Oh, so he's talking about, he wanted to see a demonstration of the figure 8 with the wrist. He was talking about for the dragon figure 8 with the animal style, if you could do a demo on that using the wrist.
Okay, so dragon is rotation this way. This is the main element of a dragon hands. So this is how we use dragon hands like that. So if she's punching me, right? So this is gonna be dragon hands like this. So she's punching. It's
That would
gonna
suck.
give a little speak. I snap her arm a little bit more. I just didn't because I'm not gonna hurt her. But technically,
Yes,
so it
nice
makes
to
it
drive tonight.
so it makes a jerk
My shifting
towards them
arm.
like this, and then you rotate this way. If she's, let's say we do this, and I go like this, and she blocks my hand, let's say, right? So we can now bring the hands up. So these positions that they're designed to turn this way. So if she's blocking my arm, let's say, I go, this is so it can slip. She moves my arm anywhere. Now I can do this. So my arm
Like being in a cyclone.
it rotates and takes. So this is like one of the beauty of a dragon hands like this. So it can go like this. So the hands, if she's punching me, I take it, see, I can carry it this way. She's punching me this way. I say, I'm gonna go here. I can hook it this way. So it now allows me, then from there I can bridge. So when I can get hands in this position, I can get bridges, stuff like that. And I can bridge and do this type of thing. So this is like one of the basic fundamentals of a dragon hands. So it's like this, like this, like this, like this. So in the end, when you can do this, it allows you to take punch and make bridges like this. And she's I can now just smack it down, throw it, and take her and do that. So that's the fundamental basis of what the dragon hand does. You all right?
Yep.
I'm trying not to snap because when you do this, you're supposed to snap into it to jolt and jerk the arm. But it's designed to hit the arm too. It's not. I'm not just touching arm. I'm really extending my palm to create a strike behind what I do.
It feels like if you were to go full force, that maybe my arm would just get ripped off. I'm not gonna lie.
So it is designed so it can create power in the base of the arm and the wrist really snaps. So can you imagine if an animal hit you and grabbed you like that and clawed you and pulled, you'd feel like your joint would come out of your shoulders. And so that's the same way that when we do this in dragon, it's this hooking type of thing. This is one, again, that's not the only method. That's just one. I just picked a method that you're like, that comes to the figure 8 type of thing. So hopefully that kind of showed you what you needed to see.
Okay, let me get off of this here. So let me go here. John Jay said, well, my fighting stance is a normal walking stance unless I'm in a tournament where there are rules, right? Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. You can call me Taurus. Just Yen Wu Ping.
Yen Wu Ping is a choreographer.
Oh. Yeah.
So he's asking me to show choreography stuff.
Do you have anything like that?
I'm not gonna do it here. Especially in the last 5 minutes.
All right, we ain't got time for that. If you're a member, join the members only webinar, and maybe we could do something about that for the next hour. Hey, LT newbie coming in from Kansas. And then Ajay said, thank you. Is reflect before combat the first 1,000 seconds, or is it right after the initiation? So basically when you transition.
Well, the first is connect, right? So we have to make some type of connection first. And then from there, you should be able to use your wrist to control. If he pulls away, that's fine. Again, we always have the intent to strike. Our goal is not to get the hands out. It's always to get our hands in. So anytime we connect, we are turning a wrist to make some type of attack, whether it's their arm or their face or their body. We will go after the attack as a primary and a secondary. That's why I don't like to say we defend, because when you defend, you're trying to get the hands out. You're trying to get the pressure off you. Our goal is to put the pressure on the opponent, never to get the hands away, but always to get the hands in. So that's our principles. It's our mindset. It's our training to go into someone. Someone's punching me, I'm hitting them. I'm not here to stop the punch. I'm here to make a punch. So that's basically what our philosophy is. So if she's like throwing a straight punch, I'm not going like this and moving her hand out of the way. I'm really going in and in at the same time. So we are creating initial strikes within the moment that we make impact. So we are not trying to get the hands out. We're always trying to get our hands in. That's one of the things I always tell my students. You got to get a mindset that not defending, you're attacking, you're counterattacking. They're not hitting you, you're hitting them. They might throw the first punch. You're going to be the one who has to land the first punch. Whether it's with the arm or their body, it doesn't matter. We are making the intent to make the strike. We're not letting the energy come to us. We are always initiating energy whenever receiving energy.
All right, awesome. So, Ajay, in regards to what is a mesh node hysteria in martial arts, because we don't know this, this is why we're asking you both. Well, brother, I'm asking you what you consider a mesh node hysteria. I've never heard of anyone refer that to martial arts or in general. So I did look it up, not the kung fu part of martial arts part, because I didn't think it had anything to do with that. I think you're maybe talking more in a kind of philosophical way, because I can't find anything and if anyone talking about that in regards to martial arts, but that's okay. So a mesh node hysteria, and I thought mesh node, I'm thinking like, doesn't that have something to do with networks? Well, yes, it does, Jamie. It's a situation where a mesh network is designed to expand Wi-Fi coverage, experiences issues or problems due to an excessive number of nodes or other factors leading to performance degradation or instability. So what I'm saying is clarify your question so we can help you. I'm not asking you to know the answer to your question. I'm just asking you to clarify what exactly you want us to explain to you in regards to that. So yeah, still can't help you there, bud. Sorry. All right, moving on. We got a couple minutes. Let's see here. Jimmy says, wow, that is awesome. Thanks, Sifu. You are so welcome, Jimmy. So welcome. All right, family. Well, we have a couple minutes. So if anyone has a quick question, let us know and we'll be more than glad to help you out. Just a friendly reminder, I'm sending out an email tomorrow about a schedule for Tuesday and Wednesday. If you want to come out to a live event that we're doing online, a virtual event, and get to do some Qigong and learn about the many benefits of it and how it can serve you in your life in general, but as well as in your martial arts, of course. Feel free to join our email list if you're not already on it. Go to entershaolin.com/gifts and go and sign up and get your free gifts and get on the list. Okay. So again, I'll be sending out that tomorrow. It's going to probably be more like mid-afternoon when I send that out. So that'll give you guys a little bit of time to check that out and get signed up. All right, family. Well, thanks to all of our supporters on here, our InnerShaolin.com members, as well as our awesome YouTube premium members as well. We greatly appreciate all of you, and hopefully we'll be on time next week without any technical difficulties. Members, we're going to see you guys and gals in a couple minutes on Zoom. The link's already been sent out. If you can't find it for some reason, it's the same link from last week. And we have one more question we can answer real quick from Mr. Fabio. What do you think about traditional forms in general?
Just forms?
Yeah.
I think forms are good. They're very excellent to practice with because forms has several purposes. One is to teach you how to do proper techniques, so muscle memory. Two, it's a way you can practice without a partner. Three, it's passing down techniques from generation to generation, so you can remember it's a way of passing certain techniques down. So forms are very good. You just have to make sure that you're doing the form right because there are people who do it wrong.
Right.
So for us, like I said, we practice forms with the base of getting the structure out with the arms and getting the control through a wrist. Other people, and again, I'm not going to question their form. It's their form, it's their style, it's the method. For us, the most energy efficient way is always through the wrists to control energy, not try to overcome energy. Forms are great. Forms are good practice. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you balanced. It tones your muscles. And again, whether it's a hard style form or soft style form, they all have benefits to it. Forms are good. Like I said, if you don't have a partner to practice with, forms is a great way to practice. It's a good way to, like I said, learn sequences of movements and teach your muscle memory in movements. So like if you're a practice form where you always learn how to do this, and you're doing that all the time, you do that 1,000 times a day, you are going to instinctively do that movement. This is why the Japanese, when they learn like samurai swords, you see them, they'll stand like a mountain, do this, and just move like this.
Over and
they'll do this
over.
for like 4 hours. And the reason why they do that is they are practicing muscle memory.
Yeah.
They're practicing to move exactly that precise way every single time. So when they're moving instinctively, that's what they train their muscles to do if they're going to go in that type of motion.
Yeah.
So forms are great. Nothing against it. Always good to have forms.
All right. And as Errol said, don't forget to strike the like, guys. Tomo, technically, we are needing to cut this off, but we're going to go ahead and take a couple minutes. Family members will be meeting you on Zoom shortly. Just for future reference, we end at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time normally. Tomo says, hi, Sifu. What's your take on why some moves in Silam Tower perform 3 times? And also, is it safe to assume that there are levels and stages of how to perform it depending on your level? Absolutely.
Well, you know that general rule, 3 times the charm. I think that's why
Right.
that there are some things that you do 3 times, but mainly, like I said, whether you do it 2 times, whether you do 3 times, whether you do 10 times, it doesn't really matter. It's like make sure that you do it right because you can do 1,000 times something wrong and you can do it wrong.
Yeah.
For us, like I said, it's making sure you have the structure. You make sure you have your basics to create the structural integrity, and you have to have your wrist to create control. That's the most important thing
Yeah.
for us. Our Silam Tao is getting the energy to the wrist and learn how to control the wrist. That is what we emphasize on to do it right. Because under pressure, like we do pressure tests, you can hit a guy who's 250-pound guy, have him put pressure on you. If your arms collapse under that, or if you have to feel the muscle to do it, you are doing something wrong. You are not supposed to fight. The reason why sometimes stays in a horse stance is you have to learn to develop the arms properly without relying on throwing your body.
Yeah.
Once you can develop your arms, do it right, adding the body only makes it more powerful. But if you have bad arm technique, adding your body is only going to make it worse for you. So you have to create proper structure, structural integrity, and you have to create proper control through the wrist.
All right. And then real quick on levels of stages of how to perform it depending on your level. Yes, there are different ways to play on your Silam Tao as you get
There's
good at
different
it.
types. You can play soft and smooth, so you can just develop muscle memory. There's tension to keep the body tense. So you hold your body under tension, develop the tendons to keep your body under pressure and learn how to stay that way. And then there's explosive to teach you how to kind of like be the soft and explode with that power. So that's the 3 phases that we play with Silam Tao. Do it relaxed, normal way to learning, just not teach your muscle. Then you learn to tense, where your body stays tense the whole time. Like imagine somebody's constantly hitting you. Your body just has to stay tense the whole time. It's to develop the tendons in your body, but it's also to teach you how to stay in that high level of intensity and getting used to that, where it's not, oh my God, out of shape. So it does elevate your conditioning. It does allow you to get your body to know how to stay in that the tension stage for quite a bit of time, and then the explosives learn how to do that in a short amount of time possible to create explosive type of powers rather than forceful type of power.
Right on. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, strike the like, hit subscribe, hit that share button, and make sure to tap that bell notification so that you can stay tuned of what is next here at the Enter Tai Chi channel. All right, family. God bless, peace, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.